Well, hey YouTube, nice to see you again today. Thanks for tuning in to a brand new adventure here with Art. I'm actually out here at a buddy of mine's house, my friend Evan. He has decided to sell his sticks and bricks home, and he is now out on the road and living the fifth wheel RV travel trailer life. I'd like to introduce you to Evan and have him go through some of his thought process of kind of what led him to adopt to the on-the-road travel trailer fifth wheel lifestyle. So with that, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to a brand new episode of Adventuring Art. Let's roll that intro. All right, and we're back. So first off, I'm Art. You guys all know me. This is Evan. Evan,
howdy.
You know, Evan, I asked him if he wouldn't mind sharing just some of his thoughts with us today about his whole experience. So with that being said, Evan, could you tell me what was the driving cause that led you to decide to sell the home and decide to just pack up and just hit the road? What would you say was that main thing that sent you on the road?
Well, like Chris and I had like dreamed of doing it for years. Just wanted to get out. We wanted to do the whole tiny house thing for a long time. This was probably like 2-3 years ago. And so we started investigating that, and it turned out to be way more complicated than we thought it was going to be. We thought we could buy a tiny house, we could park it anywhere we wanted to, and it'd be great. And so we could travel around, explore the country, and just live out of a tiny house. But this was, of course, before we had a child too. So so that was a dream a long time ago. Time passed, we bought a house, and we just sort of let it go because it was too complicated.
Sure.
Here recently, we just had some life changes and things that happened that sort of prompted us dreaming about it again. And we just started looking into fifth wheels. And it was bigger, we could park it wherever we wanted to, and we actually thought we could live there with the three of us. So that was it, and we just decided to go for it and ignore all the sort of apprehension and the what ifs that we were worried about and just go for it.
From what I can tell, it is gigantic. What made you decide like a fifth wheel versus just like a standard travel trailer, like a bumper pull, or whatever? You know, what would you say made you pick that? The
three-wheeler, or the 3-year-old, pretty much decided that for us. Like, there was no way we could handle being all three of us together all the time in something that was like a bumper pull. Just not big enough. We looked at a few of them, but it was just like there was no way. It was going to be impossible. So we walked into a fifth wheel that we were originally considering, and we're like, we could totally do this. We could live somewhere like this. And so we put a deposit down on that. Ended up, change of circumstances, we saw another one, this one here, that we loved even more, and ended up switching to this. But really it was just a matter of space. We needed something where we wouldn't go crazy with all three of us.
Now I'm a complete novice to the bumper pull travel trailer like experience. I dream and I aspire to have one day. You're living my dream, just so you're aware. You know, get out of my dream, let me be in my dream. But
you can have your dream.
exactly. With that being said, so are you trying to say that fifth wheels are typically larger than your standard bumper pull? Yeah,
so the trailer they put fifth wheels on it is capable of sustaining a lot more weight. So like this one, for example, is over 40 feet long, and it's like 8 feet wide with the slides in, closer to like 12 feet wide with the slides out. So just because of the rig that it sits on, you can have a lot more weight and floor space on top of it. So you can't do that with like a normal, like a travel trailer or a bumper pull trailer, just because it's not big enough to sustain that kind of weight.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I noticed it had, what is this, you've got dual axles here up under the looks like the main entrance way here. I also, I'm curious, last thing I knew, you had a Toyota Prius. How are you pulling this with your Prius?
I'm not at all. So that was one of the big deals getting into this, was like, we knew we were going to have to put out money for a truck. And like, we knew that I wasn't comfortable, and she was even less comfortable with buying an older truck and then pulling this thing around the country. So we had to invest as much in our truck as we did in the trailer itself.
Holy smokes.
Because you have to have a dually to pull something like this safely. So we had like 3 options of trucks, and all of them were ridiculously expensive.
Okay.
So the Prius is no more. It is definitely not pulling the trailer.
Okay. Do you think my Silver would be able to pull her? Because I think she can pull up to 11,000.
Yeah.
Do you think, or would that be just pushing the upper limit?
See, that's the fun part. I didn't realize. I thought all that mattered was like the payload capacity on a truck.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more that matters than that. So you have two things. You have your payload capacity, which is like the gross amount of weight that you can actually pull. But then you also have your GWVR, which has to do with how much weight can sit on your rear axle. And that rear axle number is actually a way lower. Like most trucks, it's probably like 2,000 or 3,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That's supposed to sit on your rear axle.
Okay.
Whereas like something like what I've got now, it's more like 6,000 or 7,000 pounds. Okay. So the fifth wheel, to haul a fifth wheel, pretty much anything over 32 feet, you're going to have like a equivalent of like a 250, an F250.
Okay. Wow.
So I don't know what the Toyota is.
my little Nissan Titan there, I don't think she could handle it. I think what you can load in the bed of the truck is about 1,500 to maybe 1,800 pounds. I can is the max I can put in the bed. So so that makes me question. Maybe bumper pull is probably the better solution.
But you might be able to find some fifth wheels that you could pull on that.
Okay.
It just depends on the weight of it.
Okay.
Like I know one we looked at was like 11,000 pounds and this one was 16,000. So there's a lot of room in between of how much weight they actually put on the tongue. So
it's good to know.
It's so complicated.
Yes. Well, there you have it. So now we know why now. So we've established why you've left the sticks and bricks, kind of where you're at now. What's so tell me about like where we're at now. What is this community? Is this like, are you just here for the weekend?
Right.
Yeah.
So our initial goal was like we wanted to spend a month or two in one place, and close to home. We're like a half hour from where we lived before now, just sort of like getting used to living in the RV. And so we're here, we're getting comfortable with it, learning all the tricks of saving space and organizing things. So whenever we do go out on the road in a month or two, we're comfortable with that part of it. And I can just, all I have to worry about is pulling it. And that's something I'm super intimidated by. Like I'm not looking forward to the day I actually have to pull this thing.
And can you pull a fifth wheel with just your standard Texas driver's license?
No. So apparently as long as it's less than 40 feet long and under a certain weight, which I don't know, you can pull it with a standard license in Texas. But because this is over 40 feet long and it's over 16,000 pounds, I do have to have a special license to pull it. I don't know what's involved in that. It may just be one of those things where like you have to like go out in the parking lot and show them that you can back it into something, but I really have no idea what's involved in that yet.
Well, there you have it, folks. So if you want to get something longer than 40 feet, you heard it here. You got to have a special license. Here I am thinking that, I can get whatever, I can get the biggest thing in the world because I see people driving these Class A's, these giant motorhomes. Like, why? So I'm curious, do you know anything about Class A's? Do you have to have a special license for those?
I don't think you do, because I think they don't make a Class A that's long enough to require you to have a special license.
Okay.
But I think if it were long enough, you would.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's weird though that like most states don't have any special requirements for people towing fifth wheels, but Texas is one of the few that does. Which is probably a good idea because you could endanger a lot of people if you didn't know what you were doing.
If I see this monster come rolling backwards towards me as I'm coming down the freeway, I'm going to be very upset
or scared.
Like that. You're going to find Jesus really quickly on the road.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Okay, so you got to get a new license or an addendum to your license.
Yeah.
Then what's the next plan once you hit the road? Where are you going to be traveling to?
We're hoping one of two things. Either we're going to go up to the New England area and sort of park like around Vermont first and try that, and then go up to Maine, or we want to go to Alaska. We're both like really excited to see Alaska and see what it's like.
Yeah.
So we're trying to decide which one of those is first. I think it'll probably be New England just because it's not like 3,000 miles, to Alaska, so I'm not looking forward to that at all.
Yeah.
But we've been to Maine before.
Take a few months, right, to cross over Canada into Alaska.
See, that's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
Is like just stop along the way and take 2-3 weeks getting there.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how practical it's going to be with like trying to boondock in this thing might be complicated. Just finding somewhere where we can safely pull it in.
Okay.
I don't know, but that's the kind of the stuff that we're figuring out is like, do we want to boondock? Is this, would it be too complicated in something this big?
Sure.
Or are we totally comfortable with pulling into a Walmart parking lot and camping there overnight?
Exactly.
So we just don't know yet.
Well, you brought up boondocking, so is your fifth wheel equipped with solar? I mean, tell me about your setup.
Yeah, so it is set up to where you can boondock like indefinitely. It's got like a really large water tank, holding tank for fresh water. It does have solar for keeping the 12-volt battery charged. The issue we would probably run into is we don't have an inverter for all of our outlets, and of course my work like relies on having like AC outlets to plug things into because my computer won't work otherwise. But we would have to install an inverter so all the plugs can be powered from the battery.
Sounds like you need a Blue Eddy AC200P. By the way, there is a link down below in the description if you need portable power.
I do need a Blue Eddy.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I do need a Blue Eddy. That'd be awesome.
There's that shameless plug. But yeah, so, well, that's cool. Okay, so you can do some boondocking. Do you have, I mean, does it have solar on the roof?
Just enough solar to recharge the main batteries. That's it.
Okay.
It doesn't like power anything other than recharging those batteries.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know how quickly it will recharge them. Like I don't know if we could power the entire unit just off that solar power, or if we would have to have more panels for that, or anything. I know it has 2 batteries that look like car batteries, and that's about all I know.
Oh my goodness! I appreciate you explaining where you're heading now. Is this it? Is this this the end game? I mean, are you done with living in sticks and bricks?
Well, like philosophically, the whole point of this is that we want a simpler life. Like we want a life where we're not, you know, paying a giant house payment and tons of electricity and gas payments every month. Like we want something that's really simple and minimal, and like we can take it with us wherever we go, and we can accomplish our main goal of traveling. Those are our 2 biggest priorities. So right now we're committing to a year, like of just seeing how it goes, see if we really like it or if we're crazy by the end of it. But honestly, like so far, based on how she's feeling about it and how I'm feeling about it, I could see us doing this indefinitely.
Wow.
As long as the experience of towing it is manageable and not too bad, I really think we will do it indefinitely.
Okay. Next question. I'm almost done grilling you here. So are there any pain points that you've experienced as a new travel trailer owner that you would impart into someone that's either just entering or thinking about entering? Like any bumps and bruises? I mean, I'd love to hear, like, is there any war stories that you have? I mean, tell us the dirty, not just the good parts. I want to know the dirty stuff.
Well, the biggest complication we've had so far was that like we weren't prepared to move it when we bought it, so we were relying on other people and their time frames for getting it moved into this spot. That was a pain point, but that's just one of those things you don't think of and ahead of time. So I would be prepared to make sure you've got a truck and a hitch and you're ready to tow it. And if you're worried about time frames, like we had to get out of our house so it could be listed and shown in that one weekend. And our trailer wasn't here and ready for us to move into until the day before that. And we had planned on being in a couple of days before that. So if we had been in control of that, that would have made that much easier. Another pain point that I didn't really expect is like, it's, you know, April and it's been really nice and not really hot outside, but the room I work in gets ridiculously hot. Between a monitor and a computer in that room. Like, man, it's 80 degrees, 82 degrees. Like,
you sweat like a hostage.
Totally didn't expect that. I thought, well, you know, the AC works great. Like, it feels amazing in here throughout the day. But that room, my goodness,
you're in the
it's like a bunk. It's totally like, it's a bunk room that's enclosed and it has a door to the kitchen. When the kitchen's really cool, that room is still hot. So that's been a little bit of a pain.
Sounds like my office.
Yeah, it probably is a lot like your office. Exactly.
I had to install an AC unit in my office, by the way. And I drilled a hole in the side of my facade of my house.
So that's been tough. Just because I know there's no way I could work in there in the middle of August. Like I would just be boiling alive.
It'd be over.
Something I didn't expect is all the little accessories and things. Now, on one hand, it's really fun. Like I love accessorizing.
All the time.
Having all these little tools and tech. But there's so much stuff that we had to have in order to make living here feasible.
Okay.
Like easily, like several $1,000s worth of things we've had to have.
Okay.
If you're going to be full-time and you want your day-to-day life to be fairly comfortable.
Yeah.
So that was something I didn't expect. I thought as long as we have the trailer and we have a truck and we have, you know, our sewer hose, we're good to go. But there's a lot more stuff to it than that.
Yeah, I can tell. Like even from here, you've got a really nice setup. You got your mats, your comfy chairs out here. It's looking like a pretty good setup. So
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really great.
That's great.
But that's been it. That's been the big pain points.
Okay.
Really. But also it was a brand new trailer, so people who are moving into a used trailer, I'm sure there's a lot of like issues you're inheriting just because an older trailer is going to have a lot more issues.
Clogged sewer lines, leaks, soft floors.
Or slides that get stuck on the way out or whatever. I've heard a lot of horror stories that we haven't had to deal with, thankfully.
Okay.
But really, it's been an amazing transition for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. You know, if you're getting into a new travel trailer, fifth wheel, it's not always, you know, just get your unit, load it up and go. There's going to be some costs, so you got to make sure you're factoring in some cushion. Otherwise, you're going to have a less than par experience and regret moving hastily into your fifth wheel travel trailer motorhome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with YouTube and with all the subscribers. I did want to mention one more thing. I've been poking and prodding Evan to kind of start his own YouTube channel and kind of to document his memoirs, his journey from sticks and bricks to living on the road full time. So that may be coming soon. So this is a sneak peek. This is a teaser. We don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I will follow up on this video, and if it happens, regardless of when, I'll update the description of this video and I will put a link to his channel. Be sure you click on there to give my brother some love, and if not, hey, whatever, it was worthwhile the mentioning. But yeah, but having said that, Evan, I really appreciate you, man, taking the time to go over here. We're going to do a quick tour of the RV, kind of walk, or the fifth wheel, to kind of go around the outside, take a look on the inside. He's been gracious enough to grant us permission to his abode. And hope you guys enjoy the tour and some of the footage here. Hey guys, so the video is running a little long here, so I'm going to cut it off here. So be sure to tune in next week for the continuation of the tour of inside of Evan and Chris's fifth wheel. Thanks a lot. So I do appreciate you tuning in, and Evan and I both thank you for tuning in to another adventure with Art. We will see you guys on the next adventure. Later, folks.
Do you just feel like there is no air left to breathe? Do you just wanna to be left outside the grid? It's all for sure, you didn't know. I wonder what it meant to be. If I let go and let it flow, I think there's more to see. I just